Hello everyone. For my today's presentation, I have presented on stolen words, shattered reputations, the impact of plagiarism. These are my academic information. So, my research question for this presentation is: how does plagiarism impact the academic, professional, and creative reputation of individuals, and what are the long term consequences of being accused of plagiarism? So, in my presentation, I am going to explore a few case studies on plagiarism. My hypothesis is plagiarism significantly damages an individual's reputation by undermining their credibility, resulting in long term academic, professional, and creative setbacks. Now you are already acquainted with the meaning of plagiarism and everything. It originates from the Latin word kidnapper, which means to kidnap somebody's ideas or steal someone's work. And plagiarism involves two types of plagiarism we have according to MLA guideline. One is intellectual theft, where you take somebody's ideas or original creative concept or their phrases and everything. And another one is fraud, where you simply copy paste somebody else's work and take credit for that. Now, here are a few impacts of plagiarism that I'm going to explore in my presentation. Number one is loss of trust and credibility. When you plagiarize, when you steal somebody else's work, there is a loss of credibility and loss of trust that people have on you. So from then on, there is always the risk that people would not trust you like they used to. There are also academic penalties. We are not unacquainted with that also, that whenever students are caught plagiarizing, there are many cases where their degrees were taken back. Universities would uh, cancel their admissions if they are still enrolled into universities. There is also harm to institution. When you plagiarize, you are not only tainting your own name but also that of your university, your teachers, and all of them have to suffer because of your mistakes. There are many career consequences to plagiarism. So it is something that affects you deeply in your life. It is not a very minor thing, we can say. There are ethical and personal impacts of plagiarism, and there are also the missed learning opportunities. So let us understand all of them in detail. For loss of trust and credibility, I have the example of Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan. He is a very reputed man in India, but there are cases against him for stealing a proportion of somebody else's thesis. So this he which Professor Jadnath Sinha was a student under the guidance of Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, and he there is the case, and Jadnath Sinha put a case for Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan that he stole from his thesis and put it into his philosophy book, which is Indian Philosophy Volume 2. And although this matter was settled outside of court, Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan suffered greatly for it, because damaged his reputation. There is also the case of Melania Trump's speech at 2016 Republican National Convention, where she plagiarized Michelle Obama's 28 Democratic National Convention speech. So a significant amount of the speech was like word to word same, and because of that, she also faced a lot of backlash. There was this question. People kept saying that if college students are doing plagiarism, then they face such consequences. Then how can we accept this from our leaders and our politicians? And so there was a lot of backlash for her as well. There are academic penalties. In Harvard University, there was a large case of 125 students cheating. So they had to take home final exam. So this was like they can do it independently, but they were required not to collaborate with each other, and they still collaborated. And this blew out of proportion, and it became a huge scandal. And because of this, Harvard University investigated it thoroughly, and because of this, many students were uh, given probation. Many were just cancelled from attending the university. Many were given like a 1 year timeline that you cannot attend the university for 1 year. So different types of punishments were given to these students. There is also the harm to institutions. So we have the example of a Rajasthan university where three professors, Rajiv K. Sinha, D. K. Pandey, and Surendra Singh Chauhan, they were accused of plagiarizing a research article. And because of this, not only them, but the university also faced backlash, because university was considered that if your professors are doing this, then what about your students? What about your own credibility? So there was this harm to institution. Another one is in 2012 when Amrita University and Karpagam University, both are in Tamil Nadu, and they had this back and forth about this because Amrita University found that some research article that was done under them was plagiarized by these people, and because of that, legal notices were sent, and they demanded an apology. And the VC of Karpagam University had to apologize himself, and they also suffered a great loss of reputation for the institution. Another one is career consequences. So we for that we have the example of Kavya Vishwanathan. She was a young Indian American author. She was 19 years old when she released her debut novel, How Opal Mehta Got Kissed, Got Wild, and Got a Life. But and then after this, she was also a student in Harvard. And at that time, there was an investigation on her work, and they found out that her work is plagiarized from Megan's novels, Sloppy First and Second Helpings. Upon further investigation, they found there were many other authors that she had plagiarized, including some passages from Salman Rushdie. And because of that, the Little Brown and Co. company, which was her publishers, they withdrew all of her book. So they bought it back from all the shelves, and they destroyed all the copies. And she had a two-book deal, so that was cancelled, and which amounted in great loss of money as well. And there was also the talks of a movie adaptation, so all of this was cancelled, so she faced a lot of career consequences because of this. There are also ethical and personal impact. So for that we have the case study of J.K. Rowling, um, who was accused of plagiarizing a lesser known book, The Adventures of Willy Wizard. Now, this was for the Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, which is like the fourth book in the series. And this also amounted into a lawsuit, and she was taken to court. And although this proved to be a false accusation, she had not actually plagiarized it, she proved it false, but she still had to endure a lot of damage to her reputation, and this impacted her personal image, her public image, we can say. So we see that even when the accusations are false, her reputation was damaged. Now, missed learning opportunities. So when you are plagiarizing, you are not only we can say kidnapping somebody else's words, their works, their creative ideas, you are also kidnapping from yourself the chance to learn something new, to develop your own skill. So through plagiarism, we can say that it prevents students from cultivating their own unique voice, or in writing, in their research. And students who plagiarize often, they fail to grasp the core idea of things. And this leaves like a knowledge gap in their studies, and this affects them in their future careers, because in jobs that require originality, problem solving, that is where they face the consequences of their earlier plagiarism. How to avoid plagiarism. So MLA guideline gives like these four things, four steps you can take to avoid plagiarism. One is to keep track of all the sources you use, so that you do not miss any source and you do not accidentally plagiarize them. Another is that you organize your notes clearly, so you keep a section of your own ideas differently, and the paraphrases or the ideas or quotes that you have taken from other works separately. There is also that you can cite all the borrowed material, so whatever you use, that it is important to cite that. And you seek clarification when in doubt, so whenever you are unsure whether to cite something, or you are unsure how to move on with it, you can ask for guidance from teachers or your friends or people who you think can guide you. For my conclusion, I would say that in the world of ideas and creativity, plagiarism is not just an act of theft, but a betrayal of trust. As we've seen, its consequences ripple far beyond mere academic penalties or legal repercussions. For many, a single act of plagiarism can shatter a hard earned reputation, leaving a lasting stain on career and creative legacies. However, understanding plagiarism is the first step in preventing it. By fostering a culture of integrity, we not only protect ourselves but also strengthen the very foundation of knowledge and art. So, to end my presentation, I would like to say plagiarism, don't even think about it. And here I would like to acknowledge the help of Yash Ratsi Soda, because he guided me on how to cite a meme. These are my other references. And thank you. Now for your questions.
Bhumi, you talk about the self plagiarism. So my question is, can you self plagiarism really be considered wrong if you are using your own work?
Self plagiarism is another type of work, we can say. So another type of plagiarism, so it is definitely wrong if you're using your own work without citation. And sometimes people also do this, that they have earlier submitted a project, and then they've already been graded for it, they've already gotten its marks, and now they are again doing some editing and showing that again as a form of like a new assignment. So then it would be wrong.
Pumiba, my question is, how can someone protect their work from being plagiarized?
One thing they can do is like get copyright for their own work. And another thing is that whenever you see that somebody is plagiarizing your work, you take action, you speak up. At least, even if you don't want to take legal action, you can at least tell them that this is wrong, and you can ask that they give you acknowledgement of your work. So, like that, we can avoid plagiarizing somebody else plagiarizing our work. Thank you.